Hello, everybody. You guys are on it. Hello, Ada. Hi, Dad. Hi, Jim. Hi, Kate. Hi, Vanessa. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good to see everyone. Thank you. I know I was debating because it's not quite as bright as it looks. It's washed out behind me. I'm in California, so it's not that much earlier, but it's so nice out. So I know it's nighttime, evening for many of you, and this might feel like a little more energetic, but I also just needed this little redwood baby to be part of our session tonight because he's so cool. From this angle, it looks like one tree, and if you stand next to it, it's twice as wide and really impressive. Hello, Sandra. Hello, Maria. Hi, Bob. Welcome. Jim, that's good. You're on a vacation. Enjoy. My husband and I got a little vacation at the start of this week, and we drove up to the Redwoods, which is something that I've wanted to do. We've wanted to do for years, and it was incredible. It's really cool. This little baby he's not nothing, but I've been in a lot of forests, and I've never seen anything like what I saw the last week. Yes, so cool. So cool that it's so close to the ocean. And that some of these trees, there was one place we went to, the Trees of Mystery, that had a slice of tree. And one of the center rings was dated during the Crusades. And then each ring, well, not each ring, but, there was like Columbus further out and these different things that happened in history. So very cool. Good for putting us in our place of how small we are and our big perceptions that feel so important and so difficult and so huge and heavy validly feel that way. And we are puny, and it is always passing. So welcome, everybody. Take this time to get settled and get comfy. Thank you. Yeah, it's easy to want to do things, and sometimes we can't, and sometimes we just say we can't. So if there's something on your bucket list that you've been not doing, then get out there and do it. We finally just said, we don't care if we can or we can't. We're doing this week. And then we made it happen. It was great. And where I told my dad this, but one of the groves we were walking in is where they filmed Return of the Jedi. So it was the Ewok country, the Ewok village, which we watched when we got home because we're nerds. And yeah, I've never seen anything like that. Just full of life and energy and time in a way that our world is not, at least not evidently. So yeah, nature nerds. Yes, you've caught me pegged. So let's get settled, because the beauty of all of that is we do have, truly, I believe this, maybe it's my belief, but there's some evidence, but we have that depth of peace within us. It's just easy to not connect with. It's easy to miss. So, whatever ails us, whatever we're struggling with, we always have this place that we can return to, that we feel grounded and connected and calm. And maybe that things are in perspective, because it may feel big and it may feel heavy, and it may be. And that, doesn't mean anything. It's just our feelings. So we're going to go ahead and get settled. Get your cushions comfy. Make sure that you are sitting in a way that you can sit for a bit or lay. And we're going to start with just gentle inhales through the nose, exhales through the mouth. It can be in the rhythm that you've been breathing all day. We're not changing anything yet. We're just taking stock and settling. Do a gentle body scan, not a critical body scan, but just an assessment. If you need to scan in a methodical way, top to bottom, that's okay. If you can just generally feel around what feels tense, what feels relaxed, just notice. Enjoy, Jim. Fire is it's such a perfect example of change. Change can be scary, but it's necessary. So as we're settling in, let's start deepening our breath. Inhaling deeply through the nose, filling the lungs all the way, expanding the rib cage. Hold a bit at the top. Whenever you're ready, exhaling a little more slowly than you naturally want to do. A little longer than you inhaled. And again, inhale deeply. And if the slow exhale didn't feel right, if you need more of a rush, more of a release, go ahead. Do what works for you. Let's just take several breaths and try to land in a place that's more slow, more controlled. The breath is one of the few autonomic, which means automatic, one of the few automatic functions in our body that we can control. And we can't take total control, but we can take some. We can't control our heartbeat. We can't control our sleep. We can't control our physical needs. We can take some control of the breath, and that's a big connector with all those other pieces. So it's fun to play with. It can be challenging to play with. And learning to slow it down and take control of it can help us take control of other parts of our physiology and our response, our reactions, so that we can respond intentionally rather than react automatically. Our breath reacts automatically if we're stressed, shortening so that we have more energy to go, and we can say, no, we don't need to. We're okay. There's stressors, but we can navigate our stressors. We don't need a full body response. So inhaling deeply, and I'll share with you some of the life and energy from these trees here, or you can pull in what you find in your own place that's recharging, whether it's nature or whatever it is for you. But just inhaling a sense of refreshing, continuation of life and energy. And exhaling, letting go of control. It's an illusion. Inhaling trust in the process. And exhaling fear of the result. Letting go. Whether or not we believe that life has a design doesn't really change how much control we have over it. So we can lean on our faith, and we can lean into the unknown, whatever we need to do to recognize that we cannot force. Breathing into any areas that you're still gripping, and maybe move a bit if you can with the way you're sitting. Move that core. Inhale and create a little more space for your breathing, expanding your rib cage, contracting. And when we breathe, we're participating. And yes, we are involuntarily participating in this life. We are brought into it, whether we want it or not. And our breath keeps breathing for the most part. Yes, we can choose otherwise. But everyone here, we are still participating. And that can feel like drudgery, and it can also feel exciting. We can participate with these plants, these trees, with life as we inhale and exhale. With our next inhale, breathing in deeply, and exhale, turning your attention to your root, your sits bones, your tailbone, where you're laying or sitting, where your feet are resting, where your hands are resting. And breathing to that place of connection and stability. And always giving yourself permission to move and stretch. There's no need to. This is a time we set aside for ourselves, where we have a break from having to, from needing to, from should-haves. So if you're thirsty, get a drink. If you need to go pee, get up and go. If you fall asleep, you need it. There's no right or wrong. We're just resting in this time and space where we can allow our body to do what it does. Such a mystery, such an awesome machine. Resting does not get enough credit. Letting that system reboot is very important. Letting it find a baseline, because we're often under so much stress, chronic stress and fatigue. We need a reset. Inhaling deeply, expanding the lungs. Exhaling noisily, expelling any tension. And I'll ask you right now to just reflect on what is your best anchor when you're practicing meditation or you're living life. What actually works for you and feels good to return to? Whether it's the breath or what you see. When I mean anchor, I mean what helps you reconnect with the present moment. We can get real caught up in our head, ruminating, past, present, rehashing, rehearsing. I was at an AA meeting with a bunch of students once, and one of the old timers said, if you got a foot in the past and a foot in the present, or future, all you can do is piss on the present. And it's true, crass but true. So, what helps you re anchor? What helps you reconnect? There are a lot of different tools, and what works best is what's best for us. So, what works for you? What do you find comfort in when your mind wanders? When your mind heads down trails that you may not be beneficial? When you get on that hamster wheel or that loop, what do you find actually helps? Is it tuning into the sounds? Any of the five senses? All of the five senses in a row? Is it the physical feeling of your back against a cushion? What works for you to ground you? Ground you in the present moment. And over the next moment, I'll ask you to just focus on that. If what you're finding is I'm grounded in skiing or travel, we don't want to look for things that are not in our control, that we can't always do. We want to look for anything we can do in any moment. So, feeling my feet on the floor, or thinking of something I'm grateful about, or planning something for the future. Yes, that's future driven, but at least it's all here. So, take a moment and just think about what's your anchor? What's your anchor? What works for you? And now I'll ask you to allow yourself to just breathe, sit in silence and stillness. And when your mind wanders, return to your anchor. And I'll join you. When your mind inevitably wanders, return to your anchor. And when it wanders again, return again. And maybe some of the sounds here helped give you some distractions. But just reflect for a second on how that practice was. If you were able to do it. If you weren't, don't worry. I struggle with this practice. I myself have a very busy brain. So settling in and choosing an anchor is a process in itself. And that's okay. That's all just us being honest with ourselves about where we're at. And it's not bad, even if it feels bad. Those are old messages. So just notice how it was to try to, we can switch back and forth. We can feel our feelings, and then we can try to anchor in the present. Sometimes the present has its feelings too. So there can be a little bit of both, but sometimes we get caught up in neural pathways of the past or feared neural pathways of the future, and we can ruminate. And then our body feels like it's happening, which is fascinating and amazing and difficult. And so just knowing how we are, how our body works, and being honest with ourselves about that and letting ourselves be where we're at instead of I should be here, I need to be here, is important. And let's take some time now to just allow ourselves to be. We don't have to try to do anything. Maybe do some moving, some more stretching. Breathe and expand. Inhaling or allowing ourselves to be expansive. Inhaling, trusting that will be safe. Inhaling a sense of peace and calm. And exhaling life and vitality. Because even if we don't feel it, we're still showing up and we still have it. And inhaling again, scanning the body. Where are we feeling any tension? Where are we gripping? Where are we holding? There are layers and layers of this. So it's okay to discover more. Or to feel like, really, that's still there? Yes, it's all right. We have layers of defenses because our human mind is so complicated. It's so good at protecting us. So where are the layers that we're still gripping, and where can we let go? And if you find that's overwhelming at any point, you can choose to ride the wave, surf the emotional wave, or ground in the present moment. And we could open our eyes and look around, count 5 things. We have options. And when we know we have a solid anchor, it makes it easier to choose and to surf. That analogy doesn't go together perfectly, but that's okay. We're not lost at sea. we can ground. And so it makes it a little safer to go out and explore and feel. And we know we have a good solid anchor. So we just play with that. With our last few moments here, I just want to share with you this energy I'm feeling in this space, even though I know it's evening time. And so you may not need that energetic feeling, but some calming, but just the sound of the birds, the smell of the flowers, the rich energy of life. I'm sharing that with all of you. And I know that you're sharing that with each other and with me. And I thank you. And let's just rest in that for a moment. Again, if your mind wanders, back to the anchor. Or back to the anchor of this community and this space, which is always here. I'll invite you to go ahead and place your hands together. You don't have to, but if you want to. And just feeling the sense of connection. It's a really neat group that exists here, this little Sangha that we're in. So placing our hands together and feeling the connection of our palms, that heat and energy, maybe a little movement, maybe not, maybe just stillness. And connecting with each other and sharing that feeling. There are people in this group that are dealing with very difficult things, so sending some love and healing, patience, acceptance, support. And placing our hands on our heart center, returning that feeling to ourselves. We deserve that deep love as much as others. And the more we give it to ourselves, the more we can share. Inhaling deeply, love and connection. And exhaling strength and hope. And let's do one more of those, maybe two. Love and connection, strength and hope. Stability and warmth, faith and trust. And just reflecting on what you feel physically as we bring up these emotions. Where do you feel that in your body? And if you feel pushback, it's okay. Respect whatever you feel. Hopefully you're all safe where you are. And let's return our attention back to the room we're in, the space we're in. Turning your attention back to your senses, your 5 senses. Maria, the therapist in me, has many questions, but I won't ask. I'm just glad you have some peace. And you can always reach out if you have any questions. Here's my email, should you need it. You're welcome, Aida. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to wrap up quickly because I went a little over. But I hope you all have a great night. Take that nice warm feeling, bring it home to bed with you. And I just posted my email, so feel free to reach out should you need anything. If you have any questions, if you want to talk through any issues, reach out. Happy to offer support individually. And everyone take care. Good night, everyone. Good night, y'all. Love to everybody. Good night to our little baby Redwood. I'll have one more week here and then I'll be back in Utah. So, oh no, you're all blessings. We're all a blessing to each other. I thank you so much. This Friday evenings has come to mean a lot to me, so it is mutually beneficial. Okay, wrap yourselves up, tuck yourselves in. Don't just rush on to an aggressive evening. Keep the peace. Do what you can to hold on to this, and have a great weekend, everyone. Much love. And good night.